So we are actually about to get into day 4. I am going to get into really the mindset that you need in order for you to take your business into the next level. So how the right mindset, I'm emphasizing on the right mindset. Hey Kay, hi, just simply how the right mindset will take your coaching business to the next level. So this is for all those who are really coaches, and not just aspiring coaches, also seasoned coaches, because we about to get into this and spill the tea for real, because we be tripping. And I'm saying that because I think this is such a good one when it comes to being a coach, how your mindset be seriously making you feel like a lot of things, that I want to get into it. So I want to talk about why mindset is important. Hey, Kenny, I'm looking at two different screens, y'all. So why is mindset important for coaches running their business? So it's important because you have to think when you are starting your coaching business, especially if you're coming from the traditional 9 to 5 or whatever, when you're starting that, that's a whole different realm. And what I mean by that, a lot of entrepreneurs, like we know that being an entrepreneur is different from being an employee. And there's different levels to being a entrepreneur, like self-employed, all that stuff. But I'm not going to get into that. But there is a shift. When you are an entrepreneur, you do all the work. Whereas you go to a 9 to 5, not that your job isn't hectic. I'm not saying that people who work to 9 to 5s, that your job are not stressful or anything like that. But a lot of times with entrepreneurship, if it's you, especially if you're a solopreneur, it's you, right? So you're doing a lot. However, I see a lot of times when people enter to the coaching realm that they have this mindset that they need to work out, and ask me how your girl know, because that was your girl, okay? When you don't have a broad mindset or limiting belief system in your mindset, it really impacts every aspect of your life, okay? What happens to a lot of coaches who don't develop the right mindset when they're starting their business is it will impact their actions, their relationships with their clients, and also their marketing and everything that they do. So let's say I start a coaching business, right? And let's say in this coaching business, I don't believe in myself. I start this coaching business. I have, like, listen, your girl got the skills, right? You got the skills down. You have everything you need. And I'm telling y'all, because this is how I know. You have everything you need to start this business. You start it, and then as soon as you don't see the things that you want, you give up, you quit, right? You quit. Yes, it impacts their results or lack thereof as well. It impacts your result. And I'm gonna tell you, that's so good. I'm gonna tell you more about that and how it does that. If I am starting my coaching business or have been in my coaching business for a while and I am stagnant, I would ask you to check your mindset. The reason why I'm saying that is because I started my coaching business in 2017 and I did not get clients into 2020. And the reason why I didn't get clients from that point is because I didn't believe in what I had in my pocket. I didn't believe what I was selling. If you heard my story before, I'll get into it. I was creative. I had all this stuff going on. I have workshops. I have all this stuff. And I kept starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping. I tell my clients this is called the popcorn syndrome, right? When you keep starting and stopping like that. So you start it, then you stop. And when we know that when we put popcorn in the microwave and we do that, we start and stop, you're going to have a high percentage of the kernels that do not pop. And that's what we do in our business. We give up when we don't see results quickly, and then we are, moving on to the next best thing, right? Because we think it's the next best thing to say instead of staying in it. Now, here are some common limiting mindset beliefs that really hold coaches back. And one of the biggest one is imposter syndrome. Listen, imposter syndrome at the core is just really you feeling like you're not good enough to do whatever it is that you believe that you're called to do. Now, what kind of foolishness does that sound like? If it sounds foolish. I believe that I was called to do X, Y, and Z, especially if you believe that this is a God-giving purpose, right? Or a gift. But then you convince yourself that you don't have what it takes to do it. So then you don't put yourself out there. Right? So now you're in a position asking yourself, will they buy? Does this work? Do I have the right whatever? And you spin your wheels. And this is why a lot of people have so many ideas. They started so many projects. They do all this stuff. This is what happens to them. They are waiting for the perfect time, which is called perfection paralysis, to actually launch their business. And the reality of it is there's not gonna be a perfect time. What you do in the coaching business, if you're ready to launch, you put your stuff out there. If it don't work, then revamp it. I heard one time when I went to a speaking engagement, the guy said, "How many times does Apple?" And I say this a lot. How many times does Apple update their phones? I know I get an update. I got the iPhone 11. Listen, I know I probably had like 15 updates since then because they on like iPhone 25. Does that make sense? But when it comes to us, we get stuck in this perfectionist paralysis where we won't put our stuff out there because we're waiting for it. It's not right. We're waiting for this perfect moment. One of the things I had to do was I put my coaching program out there, and then I talked to the clients afterwards and I got their testimonies, and then I had to revamp the program. That doesn't mean you failed at something if you revamp it. It's just that it means that you're giving the people what they want. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the people that you're helping, right? We also play small. So when we are in this space of limiting our mindset, we don't show up like the giants we are. We play really small. Your girl would be like, I don't feel like, I don't want to show up. I don't want people to, and I can't even tell y'all it was fear. I was gonna say I can't even tell you what it was. It was just fear. Like I will blow my mind. Okay, I hear you saying, "What is happening?" I will blow my mind because I'll be like, "You have all the accolades. You did all these things, and you still doubting your abilities." I did research on imposter syndrome one time, and I found that people like J Lo, Albert Einstein, Jodie Foster, all of them have an issue or have had an issue with imposter syndrome. So it can hit anybody. I don't care how many accolades you are, what your IQ is, what degrees that you have. It can absolutely hit anybody when it comes to imposter syndrome, but we have to learn how to overcome it. It also creates scarcity thinking. And what this means is you always think there's not enough. Scarcity is opposite of abundance, which is it's not enough. So when you are in this mindset, this limiting mindset that there's not enough, you're going to always feel like you're working your way to like you're overproducing and doing all this stuff. Like I'm hurry up and get this, and you create this desperation, which propel or repels your manifestation. Does that make sense? And we attract those things we focus on. So if I'm always thinking lack or scarcity, that I'm going to always get lack or scarcity. So you have to really set your mindset up, especially when we talk about being on coaching business, to really become the successful coach that you want to be. If you're a coach and you have scarcity mindset, you believe you're an imposter, you're playing small, you have perfectionist paralysis, what's going to happen is you're going to attract the clients that has the same thing. So your goal is to get over that. Does that make sense? It's important for coaches to understand how to have an abundance mentality, that there's more than enough. And if you struggle with that, one of the best ways you can get through that is the word of God. Also, I'm a therapist, and a lot of clients are dealing with traumas that's unresolved. And I'm gonna say this, like, I don't know what it is. I can't say that because I have to talk about that in speaking engagement. A lot of people have had traumas in their life, and they're not identifying it as a trauma. They're identifying it as something happened to me. As a therapist, and this is why I love to combine coaching and therapy. I understand, or I've been taught when we are in trauma, it really impacts our brain development, especially if we had trauma as a child. It literally changes your brain. So sometimes, having talk therapy and talking to people is not correcting that thinking because it's deeply rooted. So then some of you guys who feel like you can't really get out of this rut and you're struggling, you need to go to a therapist and do some EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization. And what that does is resuscitation. And what it does is it helps you to, I don't want to say fix your brain, but it helps to change your brain. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because if you're struggling in that area, hey, James, it'll help you overcome these limiting beliefs. So if I had a trauma I had to tell you one thing that happened. One thing that happened to me a lot when I was younger was my mom called me stupid often. As I grew up, I tried to overcome that. I went to college. Your girl it was magna cum laude at the Ohio State University. I graduated with 3.74 GPA. Until this day, I have to really sit out and overcome that thought of being stupid. Does it make sense? So some of us have traumas that happened years ago. Somebody said something, did something to us that's impacting our mindset, and we haven't dealt with that, and we're wondering why we're not growing. So sometimes just having affirmations and things like that isn't helping because you're not dealing with the deep rooted issues that's going on. You need to dig deeper than that. Make sense? Mindsets do help, but if it's so deep that you keep having this recurrent thing, you need to dig deeper. Yes, never knew that. Yep. Right? So a lot of times we have coaches and they're only going so far because they're not dealing with their stuff and then they're attracting the very people who they are. Now they have the skills, they have the expertise, they have all of that. However, they're not dealing with that deep rooted stuff, the imposter syndrome, the playing smart, the scarcity thinking, the perfectional paralysis in order to help them really reach the potential they want to be or want. Okay. You also have to be willing to do something different. You cannot do what you've been through doing and expecting a different result when it comes to your coaching business. Make sense? So sometimes we have to sit down and figure out what patterns we need to take in order to grow our business to reach the clients we want to or need to. Because a lot of us, the clients are waiting for us, but we're still dealing with our stuff. Ask your girl how she know, right? Another thing or a thing that you could do to help with your mindset is really get into the space of valuing yourself and envisioning, like going through your visualizations and sitting down and spending some time with the gods and really begin to understand you. I went through a coaching program, and one of the things that was so revolution for me that I'm telling you changed my life was really understanding and knowing how much God loved me. Now, your girl been going to church like on her own since probably 22 years. This recently happened where I sat down and really understood God's love for me. Why am I saying that? Because I was trying to do everything out of my own strength and I wasn't showing up as the giant that God had created me to be, using the gifts that He's given me. So when you are using your visualization and seeing yourself, really talking to your people, using your gifts and your talent to really build your coaching program, it helps to reduce that limiting thinking. Okay. Now, the next thing is I'm always going to talk about action because I think action is one of the most important things that you can do to propel yourself in your coaching business. Sit down somewhere after you have gone through this mindset shifting. Ask yourself, are you participating in imposter syndrome, playing small, perfection paralysis, and scarcity thinking? Are you participating in that? Are you walking around, you see somebody you know, you started out your business together, now this person has grown exponentially and you mad? Is that you? Check yourself because that's scarcity thinking. There's enough out here for all of us. So for you, you have to identify where your limiting beliefs are. Again, identify those things and be real with yourself because some of us ain't honest with our limited beliefs. We be sitting up there like, I'm cool. Oh, my friend winning, yay. But then in your heart, you're struggling. Does that make sense? Identify that. And then the next thing you want to do is use some techniques to help you overcome that. The Bible, you could do, if you really need to go to therapy, get some EMDR. You can also do just cognitive restructuring, kind of like mindset shifting and things like that. Doing some visualizations, exercises to see yourself where you truly want to be. I like to do visualizations where I am using all five of my senses to be there, to see myself. Last year, I sat down and I saw myself on a TEDx, well, on a speaking stage. I won't say TEDx stage. I closed my eyes. I saw myself on the stage. I felt myself on the stage. I felt the presence of the audience around me, like a deep presence. I felt like My feelings of excitement overcame me. And 2 months after that, I end up manifesting a TEDx speak. Okay. So really use that to help you. All right. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to hop off. This is the power of your mindset and building your coaching business. I'm looking at Facebook and Instagram. So I'll keep going back and forth. And TikTok will be shared later. But I just want to encourage you today, really understanding this, especially this is what I do with my clients in my Get Clear and Monetize program. We really go through this process to help you identify, not just identifying your passion, skills, expertise, and experiences, but also dealing with that mindset stuff, because that is what traps us and keep us on a level that we don't want to be in. And so we talk about imposter syndrome, overcoming fear, the scarcity thinking, all those things I help my clients deal with or identify. So this is the pre-work that they do. I can't talk, to help them really elevate to where they want to be. Because again, if I don't believe I'm a coach, if I don't believe I have what people need, and they need you because God created you for something, then I'm not going to show up as my best self at all. Okay. So if you're interested in scheduling a strategy session with me and want to know, okay, I need to know, I need this. I got an idea. I know my passion, skills, and expertise. Even if you don't know them, I can help you with that. But I'm ready to get into the coaching business. I'm ready. I call it double dutch. You know how y'all play double dutch? We play double dutch. We ready to jump in. You know what I'm saying? We like, okay, I'm about to jump in. I'm ready to stop playing double dutch with my business, and I'm ready to jump in now. Holla at your girl. All right. You can DM me, and we'll talk there. If you're on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, just send me a DM and we'll schedule a strategy session. My goal is to make sure I'm helping you be the best version of yourself with your God-given gifts, and we'll go from there. But if you're not dealing with this mindset part of you, you will never elevate to where God wants you to be, ever. Okay. Hi, you're welcome, Kenny. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a good evening. Good night. Bye.